think of things that would be cool and better and faster for you. And we've done it over the years. We've always improving. Sometimes we put something in, or sometimes the advisory council and everybody's brainstorming, and they have an idea, and they want to do it. So we're the same way. We're in the same boat. Sometimes we try it, but it's always as a promotion or a campaign, because I don't know what it'll do to the actuarials of the company, of the probability level. It could change things. You really can't tell. So when we do 3 of them, or 2 or 3 of them are in there at the same time, and something's going wrong, I don't really know which one has affected it. So it's better not to do too many of them, and we've kind of tightened our belt, and do one at a time to see if it works, because it's impossible to know how that affects the math or the plan until after the fact. We're willing to try for your benefit, but if it doesn't work for the win-win-win-win-win-win scenario, we're going to have to adjust. So that's why we adjust. We're not taking it away from you. We never gave it to you. We tried it. We made it a promotion. We did it for 3 months or a year, and it ended up being 10 years. So you get that? So even if you dislike it and it's right, can you forgive me? Huh? Okay. Now, this is very important. Listen carefully. The plan's viability and reconciliation mathematically, that means when everybody gets paid and everybody wins, okay, does it do better than break even? Because if it's losing, okay, it's going to disappear. Correct? Okay. It relies on new volume. In order to get into the plan, you have to have new volume. That comes from doing your 200, and you don't have to buy 200. You sell through 200. Quarterly, you have an activity requirement. You have to sell through 50, 50, and 50 is 150. 150 is when retail is 200. That's 150 BV. You're selling, you don't have a requirement to buy 50 a month or 150. I don't want to hear that. You have a requirement, you're supposed to have 10 to 20 customers, right? To sell through that. So it's regenerated volume. When you come in, you have to hit it, because you've got to carry your weight in order to participate in all this accumulation on everybody else. There's no free ride. Otherwise, it would get weaker and weaker and weaker, and you'd have no residual income. So everybody has to do that. If they don't do it, it starts loading the plan up with volume that's not carrying itself, that's not reconciling. Everybody get that? Notice I got out of my seat. It relies on new volume being produced. When somebody comes in and is going to get credit, and everybody's going to get credit above, okay? It relies on regenerated volume. That's why we make you sell and have requirements, like Kevin was talking about. It's just not regulatory. It's good business building. It makes the plan work. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And it relies on a natural pattern, just like insurance. This is what normally happens. Most people don't go out and have 3 car accidents in a day. They might have 1 a quarter. And we can live with 1 a month, but not 3 a day every day. That breaks the model. Do you get that? So when you put fake centers in, or you see an opportunity, and man, it's so tempting. Look at that leg, and there's 1 person. If I could just put some volume there and get 1 person in, we would hit another check. I understand that. That's entrepreneurial zeal. But you can't do it because it breaks the bank. It breaks the system. So we have rules against it. And you say, oh, man, they're trying to make it hard and difficult. No, we're not. Okay? But if we let you get away with that, we would lose residual income. The plan, can't you say more and more people would earn on the same volume? That doesn't work. It has to be built from the bottom up, not the top down. It's just like a skyscraper. You don't start at the top and build it down to the bottom. You build it from the bottom, and you can go as high as you want if you have a strong enough foundation and base. And that's how the plan works. Solid from the bottom up. Okay, so it relies on building end results. In other words, you now have to sponsor two to get a piece of the action. You can't rely and be passive and somebody else put those two people under you. That's passive. It's actually a securities violation because you're depending on the general success and profit of the enterprise in order to earn your own without carrying your weight, and there's no relationship to what you earn to what you produce. Okay? So you have to have an ongoing sales and supervisory and motivational function in the process of earning money. And so the measurement for that, the threshold measurement, is you sponsor personally two. I taught you that's not the best practice. The reason that we did vertical rather than horizontal for profitability is do the same thing they do in insurance or real estate or franchises or multi-level. Sponsor 8 over the year because you're not going to have to handle them all. They're all teams down 2 lines, and it's made to handle that. But forget it. You got to do at least 2 for the math. Does that make sense? Okay. No passive volume, and everyone must carry their own weight. This is huge. You can't move customers from one place to another to satisfy the requirement. You can't have somebody come in and do their requirements for them, right? Because it's breaking the model. You're loading passive volume. That person's passive. It's against the law, okay? And it doesn't work in the plan, and it destroys the math. What's wrong with having real people that you help get real business, real retail accounts, and make it solid? You know? It's going to go away anyway. And guess what? If you're doing that, you can't stop because it's all relying on you. Does that make sense? Okay, sit back down, JR. Okay, the plan will not support synthesis. Synthesis is something that you synthesize. It wasn't real. It wasn't really Dennis getting Kevin and them getting customers and then us going together to get really good people excited about the business and build it with them and get to the whole process, right? You started plugging things in. Because the back office is so powerful, you can see everything. On Friday, you see where the volume is. Next Friday, it's different. The next Friday, it's different. And you take chips and stick them in there. They're supposed to be stationary, and you build it out. So you're moving it around, playing a game at the end of the day, and it doesn't support that. The plan will not work with that mathematically. You know why casinos have rules against card counting? I mean, first of all, a person who can card count is brilliant. They are a genius. And, you know, intrinsically, there's nothing really wrong with it. They're beating the system. They're beating the odds. But you have to understand the gaming opportunity is based on a fundamental principle of probability. 52 cards and a probability for every draw. So if you're able to card count, the cards that go out change the odds, which allows you to change your bet. So if you can do that, you're breaking the fundamental principle of the game. Okay? It's not that something that you're doing is wrong. It's that they make it against the rules so that you can come play and they can win. Did you understand that? Okay. So alter egos, controlled centers, same household, fake people, none of that works in the plan. It basically causes the plan not to work. Do you want that to happen? No. And this isn't about just the auctions. This is about everything, all types of stuff. But this, what I'm doing is giving you the reverse. These are the parameters that allow us to be profitable, successful, have residual income, and have longevity. And nobody else knows how to do it. But there's a limit to what we can allow or it crashes. The plane loses a vacuum under the wings and boom, 350 of us go down in the mountain. Don't want that to happen. Easy to do when there's one leg is a problem. Now that you can see everything week to week and the volume moves, it migrates. People get more active, people get less active. It is a tremendous temptation to say, wow, look at that leg. The volume, I was working over here, placing volume over here, and now the action's over here. I don't want to place it there anymore. I want to move it over here. That's not how it works, folks. This is a real deal, a real business. You got to build it where you decided to build it. Just because somebody else is doing volume somewhere else doesn't mean that you can move everything and change everything and go do it there now. Otherwise, first of all, build it out where you build it. It's the plan like it is in the diagram. That doesn't show, 1 week we do it here, but now because somebody else did volume over here, we change it to that. Does that make sense? Okay. Am I getting too excited? Okay, so let me go on. So in your mind, you have to come to a point where you have some faith, that you believe that we are on the same side as you are. There are no sides. We are UFOs. For 27 years, everything that we have done has been to improve the business for you, to make it more profitable, more stable, easier, faster. We've never done anything that ended up hurting you. I know sometimes it seems like that. For instance, when I put in requirements, there was nearly a mutiny. It was a civil war. I'll just be frank. Today, nobody would live without them, okay? So there's things that I know maybe that you don't. You have to have some faith that we will never do anything that's going to hurt you, and there's good reasons for it. And yes, I do want to explain them, but it takes a lot to explain them. When I got to explain all this stuff 1,000 times to 1,000 different people, I become like a tape recorder. Rather do it all at once. Downline placement and vertical building, it's from the business that has to be built because we don't have to build width from the bottom up. Nothing that you do, volume placement, building techniques, anything works from the top down. You have to build it from the top down, bottom up. Do you understand what that means? The people at the top have to build it below, otherwise it'll crumble. And I can show you thousands of examples and they're in the slides. Downline placement, width versus depth. You're multiplying profitability vertically in depth, which is a minor miracle in itself. Every other plan is horizontal. So appreciate it. You know, you want to build profitability in depth. Sometimes we try things, and I already went over this, we don't know what's going to happen and it doesn't work, you know. So I'll give you an example. When we brought out the shopping annuity and the shopping annuity bonus pool, okay, I put $20 million on the table thinking that I would create fast conversion, that everybody would get their teams and duplicate and get on it and move over. And then you had the volume, and it takes 1/4 of the people, or you have 4 times the volume, and you hit it. Now, I know all the reasons that didn't happen. You know, I'm not complaining. And it had to be better. And, you know, the shopping annuity landed yesterday. It is going to be that way. You believe that? But what happened was everybody took good customers. You realize how cool it is that you can sell product or take accounts and we fulfill the orders. You can take them online. We'll process your credit card, ship the product, give you the metrics, immediately give you the profit. So you can build a giant customer base or business without having to inventory like MLM and without having to handle all those problems. But what you guys did was you took those customers off and made them for personal use so that you could extract the shopping annuity bonus. Well, that basically was robbing Peter to pay Paul. We got no more volume out of it, but I paid you $20 million. You know, I said, okay, they got me on that one. But I shouldn't have to feel that way. It should all be about the same cause and purpose, right? So, you know, you get mad? Look, I get mad too, but I didn't let it affect anything. I still love you. You know, I said, they're really smart, Dennis. So Mark has to think long and hard about every move we're going to make and how it might be misappropriated. And it's not that you did anything wrong. I'm saying you did it inside the rules, so you didn't break the rules. So nobody, you know, can criticize you for that. You beat the system, though. And the thing you don't realize is that you are the system. So eventually it'll boomerang. What time? Oh, I'm not even going to get through the cards. See how pretty those slides are, though? You can't wait. Come to my seminar. I'm going to book one a week for 3 weeks, and you are going to become experts. You're actually going to understand how the mathematics of the plan works. Okay? So I want the smarter people are the worst ones because they argue with themselves all the time. And if they don't understand the answer to everything, they can't totally be in belief-wise and passionately working-wise. They spend more time trying to find ways to beat it and profit, and, you know, I understand that. You know, I have a friend who has a job. He has a company that reconciles trading on the market. And so, because when you trade, you don't know if it went into your account and if it was actually transferred, and if the company has a transfer and the market maker or trader has credit for it. It's kind of like our plan. And there's a fraudulent, you know, thug practice out there of pushing trades through a second or 2 seconds after the market changed. And they got to catch that. But that's an example. If it went up $2 and I'm able to move the trade and you're not going to see that I did it, you know, 2 minutes after, I make the money. But it wasn't real. Do you understand that? That's an example of the type of thing that we deal with, if that helps you understand. Downline placement. Guys, here it goes. Supposed to be a personally sponsored, used to be downline placement. If I was working with Kevin, this is a bad example because I never did it because I just did it though. But you place people below them to work with, and if everybody's sponsoring more than 2, it blows up the leg. That's downline placement. Not just 50 BV today. That's 200 qualifying, 2 other people activating, and regenerated volume and build up. That's real downline placement, guys. That's how you do it, you know? Yeah, you're helping them. Excuse me for getting worked up, but because I built the whole company this way, you know? I mean, I never even told somebody when I placed volume downline of them because I didn't want there to be expectation. I was working with them. We were in the home. We were selling product. I just wanted them to hit the level, you know, so that they'd be recognized and so they'd get a check and Santa Claus is real. So if I had some extra volume, I might place it where I was working because I was spread very thin and I wish I could put more time in there. And they hit and that gave us a boost. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's reentry. Reentry is the most powerful form of downline placement. You understand that? Vertical building. Working at the bottom with them is downline placement of your energy, effort, time, and building. Okay? Now, there's a few situations where logically and within the intent of the plan, BV or volume downline placement might make sense. It's in the slides, but there are very few situations where it makes any sense. Why would you place volume that you're selling under somebody at the bottom so they have to do less volume and it's not going to regenerate and build from the bottom up? How does that make your business any better or solid? Then the next month it doesn't happen. And then they're expecting it and they're disappointed. And it doesn't compound. It doesn't build from the bottom up, repeat compounding sales that get bigger and bigger and bigger because nobody can do it wide. Even when you move it out to other legs, you're destroying the compounding effect. Are you intellectually understanding what I'm talking about? Okay, so the back office was a game changer, okay? It was really designed for management to help people stay on track, meet requirements, determine where to work, balance legs, build teams, downline placement of sponsorship. Can't do it if you can't see what's going on. And to cover all the legs. So I could get with Dennis and Kevin and look at all the legs and say, you work here, I'll work there. So when you can see all the volume week to week, and you couldn't used to do that, it creates tremendous temptation. Temptation and opportunity to optimize or leverage the volume. This did not used to happen. This is not the way it was designed to be built, but it's something that has crept up. And so, you cannot go on somebody else's back office and put volume in for them, or you would simply be terminated. It is our death. It's our death. Wasn't intended for that. You're not allowed to go into somebody else's bank account. It's basically what you're doing. I don't want to argue about it. I'm just telling you, that crashes a plane, period. And we're not going to let it die. So just don't do it. You got your own back office. You can see everything anyway. Fair enough? Okay, you can't move the target. If I'm going to re-enter, I can't move it, right? If I personally sponsor somebody and they're on transfer buying, I can't move it. That works. And that's what you got. But you can't move the target to, okay, this month I'm going to put it down here. The volume switch, I'm going to put it over here now to take advantage of the volume. That is not how the business works. Mathematically, probability-wise, and it's not a good business practice. Is that fair? Now, whether you like it or not, that's the truth. Okay, so personally sponsored transfer buying, one re-entry per BDC. We used to give you, every time you cycled, another BDC. Elizabeth had like 70 of them. You can't do that. Why? Because it loads up the system all over the place with potential apexes that weren't supposed to be there to hit other checks. It's okay to have one, but they're all in line, so if you build this one, they all get paid. That doesn't work mathematically. Isn't it great? This is the way it is. You finish one, you do your 2, 3, then you can get another one. Downline and everybody benefits. Everybody gets that, right? We had to get rid of 7-packs. This is our history. Why? It did the same thing. People would place these 7-packs all over the place, and on the previous work from a year ago, they would be hitting payouts without new volume, and the mathematics didn't balance. But remember, the plane flies really well the way it is. Boring you? Downline placement, here's the end of the story. Downline placement became so prevalent. It used to be rare, and where somebody was working and not moved around. Downline placement became so prevalent that it became a regulatory problem. I worry about it. Think about it. Those people aren't doing the volume. It was okay one place where you were working, but now it's all over the place. So the plan is being more and more driven by people's efforts at the top looking for a gaming opportunity and just placing the volume down there. And I can't explain how they carried their own weight or how they retailed that product, because they didn't. And here's the thing that nails the coffin. You can only do that on encumbered volume. Now, in the old days, Dennis would be selling, not 200, but 1,000, 2,000. And he's working down with somebody. Every month that product turns. So there's an established pattern. That unencumbered volume when he bought it, because it's always unencumbered when you buy it, right? Unless you have customers on buying it. With me? That unencumbered volume is being placed, and everybody's getting credit for it, right? And he hasn't sold it yet. Yeah, I know he sells it every month. So I could create a program established for somebody that we know is moving. But if it isn't, I have a regulatory problem. Millions of dollars of unencumbered volume are being placed at the bottom that everybody gets credit for in a year, and it hasn't sold. We have the 70% rule and Form 1000, right? But guess what? That happens after the fact. So to reconcile it, we got to go back and charge people back. That's no good. Reverse volume, recoup commission. I don't want to do that, and it's not necessary. Okay? And I'm never going to have this company, who has been the poster child in the regulatory community, to be accused of something like that, doing something wrong. That kills us all. So, okay. So look, I'm only doing a little bit, 5% of their check per month. So if somebody is, at 1,200, you're doing 120. Or they're at 5,000, you're doing 250 to 500, placing it down there. Think about this. Over 5 months or 10 months, people can qualify for a check and never have done anything. You see how that weekend, did you hear that? Okay? And even if it's only 25%, 50%, why would you want to do that? You're expecting me to give you 50% of the volume to get paid? That weakens the whole foundation. That's not the concept, guys. Okay, so you okay with that? Okay, I'm almost done. Just think, what would be a fair expectation to get from upline? For me, I would rather you sponsor somebody under me or re-enter under me or work with me. What is it, 10% of their volume, 25%? 50%? I'm expecting 50% of my volume to get paid to come from you. You think that's a good idea? Okay. So it has to work our way to work for you guys, and this doesn't work. That's the bottom line. Do you see why it doesn't work? So we're still letting you do it, but in one leg where you're working. And look, it has to be. If we know that we have rules in now to prevent it. You're buying a lot of unencumbered volume that isn't sold, which is encumbered, okay? We're going to have to give you a call. That's all there is to it. Okay, BV, IBV, $50 cap, 10, 20, 30, that's what the slides are about. Here's fundamentally, what that's about. When that happens, you saw what we're doing with the shopping annuity, right? And I don't know if you really believe it, because you hardly ever believe anything until after you experience it. But let's suppose I'm right, and it's really flying. We need the BV plan, the IBV plan, and the shopping annuity all to be working together, not with your feet in two canoes going opposite directions. You see, that's what's going on here. Are you with me? Okay, so what actually happens, and nobody did anything wrong. This was just pure entrepreneurial zeal, maximizing their return. But what's happening is the big people earning checks every week, okay? They're capped out. So we allowed you to put Market America BV products in an IBV plan to get people moving up so that they would buy more IBV. That was a long time ago. Now that we have everything, and now that we're optimizing it and giving you 10, 20, 30 packets, you know, of super IBV that you have to buy anyway and you save money on, there's no reason to do that. The IBV plan is for IBV. But when we allow it, what happens is the people that are maxed out on their centers are also in the IBV plan, parallel, right? So when they have everybody move their requirements for 10, 20, 30 in the IBV plan with BV, it took it out of the BV plan or where it would be in the BV plan and put it in the IBV plan. So now that causes less IBV to be done, but worse than that, they hit a check automatically because they have 100 or 500 people downstream. So they just simply move BV instead of doing IBV. If you're just doing a shopping annuity, you're doing a lot more anyway, over and automatically hit a check. That was not the intent, and that's hurting the people. Remember, big distributor, little distributor? And if this is going on with you, don't be mad at the upline. They didn't do this with malice, okay? But I'm now explaining to everybody, it doesn't work, it's not smart, and it undermines the system, and it hurts the little guys that are in between. Every month they need that volume. They're getting closer to hit checks. How many people agree with me? Okay, let me get to the end. Okay, cash back. That's the last one, right? But by the way, even if it hurts you or it's making you feel anxiety, do you understand logically what I'm talking about with mixing BV and IBV? Okay, so look, please don't get mad at the people above. But now everybody can move these 10, 20, 30 packets in the super IBV, and it's going to be really easy. I know that that's not what you want because you automatically got a check by moving the BV over into the IBV plan and earn twice on the same centers. But that's not the way it works. So we gave you some extra time. Let's just get with the game. In the long run, you're going to be much more happier because everybody's going to start getting 2 checks. So cash back. Here's the bottom line, and I'll get off. Cash back. Okay. You know, Abraham Lincoln one time said, you can please some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, but never all the people all the time. And it's really true. And sometimes you can't win for everybody, and somebody's not going to like it. So you have to look at the overall picture. I think that we created a win-win here by the way we did it. But bottom line is, as time goes on, we have these millions and millions of suppliers. Many of them average us on commissions for everything they have in their line when you guys are all buying maybe 5 things or 2 things. We could pull them out and not average it, we could get a higher commission. But there's like commission junction and all of these feed and lead and transactional charges that come out, bank charges. So there's a whole list of ancillary charges in e-commerce, okay, that you're getting hit with. So they've grown over the years. And we didn't really worry about it. We just paid it out, paid cash back and paid IBV. But it's shrinking. And in many cases, we're losing. We just ate it because we want the program to work. But you say, it's gotten to the point where we take all of that money and turn it into cash back and IBV. Because it's less, when we put it into cash back, it doesn't look that good. Oh, I used to get 5, it's only 3 now. And we can't make it go up. Do you understand that? Now, marketing research with companies like Forrester I mean, the biggest in the world that do over Fortune 500 all say that people rather discounts or lower price over loyalty programs. I'd rather just pay less. I agree with them. But regardless, that keeps going down. So when we do BV, we're splitting the amount between BV, IBV, and cash back. And neither person's happy. The IBV is too low. So now I said, look, it was always for customer acquisition. Let's please them by giving them better cash back, and let's please the shopping annuity people in the field by giving them double, like Mark said, double plus IBV. So with all this other stuff we're doing, it really works. So you couldn't do both. So we're doing this. We made a call. We all voted on it. Everybody on the executive sales team who are also unfranchised owners. Okay, this gets the whole plan working together rather than feet in two canoes. Okay, and so that's what we did. And just do me a favor, give it a chance. Okay, if you're not happy, we can talk about it later. But let's go at this to win. And you know, you want to help a new person in business, believe me, they're not going to build a director because they got $50 or $100 or even $1,000 cash back. They're going to build because you're down there showing them how to sell product and building the business under them, and they're hitting checks. That's the bottom line. And they'll get more customers. So that's it. That's why. So what did I cover? Downline placement, moving BV to IBV. And the 50 cap's the same reason. People were putting 1,000, 5,000 over in the IBV plan on the same organization to get a second check on the same center. And these two things don't mix. Different profit margin, it defeats the purpose, and displaces IBV coming up. You know, so I fixed it. You know, it's kind of like requirements 20 years ago. I know you don't like it, maybe, some of you, but just, you know, I'm going to make you do it, and you're going to be happier in the end.